Pigweed here. Today we review an IPA and discuss Slang we love and hate. Well, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
And there's a third glass.
Longinus. All right.
Here.
Fantastic. So,
good evening.
What are we drinking?
Well, we're having a black IPA.
Okay.
How do you like that?
Fantastic. I like
I
black
think we need
IPAs.
some beer and conversation.
Yeah.
And
What's on your mind? What were you thinking?
Well, what I'm thinking is when sometimes I hear a phrase in a show, like that 70s show,
Yeah.
and I think,
I didn't hear that in the set.
people didn't say that in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so I hear anachronisms sometimes, and so I've been thinking about words and phrases that we use and when they began. It seems to have really accelerated lately.
Yeah. It's kind of like the feeling I had when in the Lord of the Rings movie when Aragorn was going to throw Gimli and Gimli says nobody tosses this dwarf. I was like, no, they didn't talk that way in Middle Earth. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you were there. I wasn't there.
I was there.
But
yeah.
I totally accept that.
All right. So what we got here is DuClaw's
Well,
Noir.
oh, is this DuClaw? I did not know that.
Black
Noir.
IPA, 7%. And let's see what we got.
All right. So early in my brewing career,
Yeah.
DuClaw made Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my favorite beer, and I was like, I got to learn how to make this. And it's actually my favorite homebrew that I make. But shortly after that, they stopped making it. They haven't made a black IPA in 10 years.
This tastes to me a little jacked up from the original that you're remembering it to me.
Oh, it's tasty, I tell you
It's
that.
very tasty.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
I think,
it's got a little bit more of everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 7. It's maltier.
Yeah, it's maltier. It's got more going on. And I remember when we were drinking that when DuClaw had a place at
Arundel Mills.
Yeah, and it was great. And then, as you say, it went away. And I was in this liquor store and saw this, and I said, "Okay, let's give it a go."
Whenever I see that, it's just not a very common style. So, in the beer world, things tend to be balanced in the middle, hoppy on one end, or malty on the other, and so you don't really get.
And the dark malts and the strong hop doesn't typically go together.
Not really.
Yeah, and this is actually really good, but I do think they just took that old recipe and cranked it up a bit to make this guy.
Got a
That's
lot
good.
more mouthfeel than my homebrew. I'm not sure what they're doing here, but they're.
All right, very good. I think this is. I'm going to have to get some more of this. And this is the kind of thing. Do you think this would age well? I mean, 7% is sort of on the border.
7%, but it's got a lot of malts.
Yeah,
and it's got a lot of hops. It might do well with some extra time. So I say to myself sometimes, people didn't talk like that.
Yeah.
So I've got my first 3 here are actually pretty old.
Yeah.
But they don't go back to the beginning of time. And the first annoying one is using as like a filler. Yeah. She came over and she was pretty and she was nice and it's like the doesn't do anything except for just make a space between sentences or something.
And the discipline of removing that from your speech is very important.
It's really important.
Yeah.
And that came in with the Valley Girls back in the 80s?
I would say 80s.
80s,
I would say 80s, yes. Yeah. And because the use of, so just means similar, right? Yeah. But what before we got to the current incarnation of the constant it just meant roughly, I'll be there 5 or 6, or he's pretty tall, 6'2", 6'3", right? I mean, it just means roughly, approximately, but now it doesn't mean anything. No, it's just stuck in between sentences.
It's just a filler word, and there are a lot of other filler words that people use.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a right?
Well, I'll take an if somebody is at a lecture or whatever, they're just trying to gather their thoughts between sentences. I'll take an over a all day, every day.
I agree. Although I will again insist. The discipline of training yourself not to use filler words is worth your time.
Because you don't even hear it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the hardest part.
That's one of the hard things about listening to these podcasts is you say, did I really say that?
Right.
I know better.
You listen to somebody else's podcast, you're like, yeah, I wish he would stop doing it. How about the whatever?
Oh, gosh.
That also was 80s Valley Girl.
Yes,
so that's very old.
There's a account on Facebook that's called Whatever.
Right.
That I kind of like.
Okay.
But anyway, that's my only response.
Now, when I was young, I always thought of respect is a verb, and you show disrespect.
Yeah.
And then we decided that disrespect became its own verb, and then it got shortened to just dis.
Yeah.
You dissing me?
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty old too. That's probably 80s also, but I can assure you I've never said that. And I don't like it. So
just as a general blanket statement on all these kind of things, generally speaking, I avoid slang. I don't like using it. And just as a general rule, I try not to use slangy words, especially if they're like the hip modern thing. If they're like the hip modern thing.
Yeah. Yes, if especially the one that you're just now recognizing.
Yeah.
Right? It sort of creeps in really quick. You're like, wow,
I try very hard not to use
this is really taking off here, and I'm not a big fan.
I'm
not a big fan.
There you go. Or on board. I mean, you can't avoid it. There's
some of it's just
is not. We don't speak like robots. Language has these little things that creep in, whether you like it or not.
But the ones that's right. So No Worries is about what?
Yeah.
Is that 5 years old? It's probably maybe longer.
No, longer than that. It's longer than that. I remember
Bob Marley. Don't worry. Not a thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, no,
sure.
This is the same thing as when you tell your waitress, no, I'm going to finish this plate right here. Don't take it away just right now. No worries.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why I don't like that. It's aggravating. I don't like it. It's no problem. It's the same thing as no problem. But I'm not. Right. I don't really like it.
Do you say no problemo?
I'm okay with no problemo. Now, this is about 10 or 15 years old when literally became literally the opposite of what its actual meaning.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's fascinating.
And even the dictionary,
I know,
at some point finally put literally the definition figuratively.
Yes.
Like, so it also means its own opposite.
Well, this gets back to the whole, is language prescriptive or descriptive?
Yeah.
And so
so Webster's just like giving up.
Yes.
So they're going, well, that's what they're doing these days.
And the people who know more about language than we do study this kind of stuff and realize that there are ways that the language gets used just in a human, normal way, and that's part of it.
And sometimes you just can't fight it.
I know. Sometimes it's just, that's sorry.
But so when you say Trump is literally Hitler, okay, you know what you know that he's not literally Hitler. What do you mean?
He's
figuratively
he was born
Hitler.
in Brazil.
I know.
He is literally Hitler.
So what it's become is indistinguishable from.
Yeah,
is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Like he is so much like this thing, he's indistinguishable from it, and for some reason we have chosen literally instead of figuratively to mean figuratively.
Yes.
I don't know how.
But it doesn't. Figuratively, he's like Hitler.
It doesn't really come across.
Yeah, right. It doesn't
have the same punch.
Yes,
it literally sounds better.
Yes,
it's just a form of emphasis to say, this is literally the worst thing I've ever seen. Right. All you mean is, I'm trying to put emphasis on what I'm about to say.
Right. I just didn't want to say really, really, really. So I just said literally, really.
Yes.
So these are a little more recent. Is that even a thing?
Yeah, that one.
I find myself using it.
So that one reminds me of Mean Girls, where one of the characters kept saying some word fetch or something, and somebody said, stop trying to make fetch a thing. It was some line like that. Yeah. I don't know why that stuck with me.
So what it is, it's just the shortening of a thing, like a thing that we do, but you just bring it down.
Trying to make it a thing means something that becomes part of the culture and the language and the way we talk with one
Right, but it's a condensing of a thing that we do or a thing that we say. We just chop it off at thing, and everybody knows the rest.
But becoming a thing is more than that. It's like this is acceptable.
It entered into popular
and
culture.
it's acceptable in the way we communicate.
Is that a thing now? It's a thing. Okay.
Okay.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many throwaway words.
All right.
Yeah.
Seriously, and then people won't leave seriously alone. Now they have to do seriously. Are you being serious right now? So that's kind of a thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Things used to be a problem, and now they're problematic.
Oh gosh, I hate problematic. I hate problematic mostly because of the context it's used in. When people say something is problematic, what they mean...
It's not progressive.
That's pretty much what it means.
Yeah.
It's more of a liberal term than it is a conservative term, I think. Yeah.
How about giving a shout out to / somebody is in the house? That's 25 years old, maybe.
Or maybe older. Those kind of
sports. I think of ESPN when I hear those two things.
Those are the kind of things that they're fine as long as they're not used too much.
Right. So if you're at a party and somebody shows up that you didn't expect to show up, would you be the guy to say, "Hey, Jimmy's in the house"?
Me, no. I would not.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No. I would be, never. But I also wouldn't be like, "Oh God, is she saying that again?" I'll be like, "All right, that's fine."
Yeah,
You're not going to catch me saying it.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing somebody says it every once in a while. Okay, if they say it all the time, it's annoying.
All right, I've got to lean into and to own something.
Okay, to lean into reminds me too much of that annoying feminist meme about leaning into things.
Which means what? At what time would you be leaning into things?
Me, never. I'm not.
No, I mean,
You're putting more emphasis on something.
What did you mean by using the phrase?
What I think they mean by the phrase is, here's this thing that's problematic, and I'm going to, rather than reject it, I'm going to lean into it. See, it's kind of like,
maybe this is something that I could apologize for.
Yes.
And so you know what? Surprise to you. Spoiler alert! Sorry, I'll write that one down. Which means yes, I'm going to. Now, how is
it's kind of like when the Hillary Clinton people with the little pink hats with the things.
Yeah.
And they leaned into the nasty woman. So I think Trump called her a nasty woman.
Maybe if something is a criticism.
Yeah.
And instead of you running from the criticism,
you're going to lean into it.
Okay. Now I saw this bumper. This guy had 2 different bumper stickers with the same theme. Both of them were driver carries no cash. He's married. I'm the boss because my wife says so. I was like, that is so embarrassing.
Yes.
But he has actually owned. Right? Wouldn't that be an effective way of saying to own something?
He's owned the fact that his wife runs his life.
Yes, and he is not. He's for some reason he's not ashamed. I don't know why he wouldn't be, but he is going to own that. Meaning, yes, you take responsibility for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think you take responsibility for it.
What is when somebody puts a P in front of owned? What does that mean?
I have no idea. Owned?
Yeah, I've seen that from time to time. I don't know what it means. I don't want to know what it means, but it's another one of these annoying things.
How long have people been triggered?
Oh gosh, before COVID, before
way before COVID.
Yeah, certainly 10 years.
Yeah, it's a
psychological term.
It's the overdoing of this psychological fragility that everybody has.
Right. Right.
You triggered me, right?
You're triggered. Is it like,
and for
what
some
are your
reason,
triggers? What gets you upset?
Right. But that gives you the power to tell the other person to stop doing whatever they're doing.
Yes.
It's because that could
triggers me. But what that should mean is, okay, you're weak. You need to get over that. That's what that should mean.
Yes.
But what it really means is, you need to stop doing that because it triggers me. Well, that just means you're a wuss.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if if I was flashing you, you could say, Eric, you're triggering. That's don't do that.
Okay, I would not say that. But it's just,
Choicer words for that. Now, this is probably, I would say, maybe less than 2 years old. Did not have that on my bingo card.
okay.
Never heard it.
That
That's-
is a relatively new one.
That one
I like
is
it.
probably the newest one. I saw it
I
just
think it's
today.
seniorish, senior citizen-ish.
No, I saw it today. It was. Did you know that there is now a scandal where Everest guides have poisoned climbers as a part of an insurance scheme to force them to be evacuated by helicopters, and somehow somebody's making money on this thing. So the title was "Guides Poisoning Hikers" was not on my bingo card.
And that's a clever saying, but it's only clever if it's used very rarely.
Or you're over 60.
But a lot of these sayings are really clever use of language.
Yeah.
But you once they get overused, they just become annoying.
Right, but then to become sort of the victim of their own cleverness.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yes, once you've heard it a couple of times, like, well, that's pretty clever, and then it gets then people are like, oh my god, now I'm going to sound clever.
Come up with something else.
Well, he's not wrong. How do you
That
feel
one
about
rubs me completely the wrong way.
Interesting. Go ahead.
And the reason it rubs me the wrong way is, why don't you just say whether it's right or whether it's wrong? Saying he's not wrong is, it's mealy mouth. It's
no,
wishy-washy.
hold on. Let me come to its defense.
Okay.
And it is if it's a fact that is an uncomfortable fact that people don't want to admit.
Okay. And there's a lot of those.
And you say, but you don't want to say black people commit a disproportionate amount of crime. I don't want to come out and say he's right about that. You can kind of ease your way going in, well, he's not wrong.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like a soft way of agreeing without going full agreement.
Okay. I recognize that that's what's going on.
But you don't see yourself
I don't see
using
myself using it. No, I would probably just say.
How long have we been
just-
dog whistling?
I don't know even know what that means.
Dog? No, you don't know dog whistle? Dog whistle is when somebody says that this language that's used by this group is actually secret language.
Something
that
what they're really trying to say.
that means some dastardly underworld
But
Nazi thing.
Yes, but it's almost always used when somebody says they like to drink milk, it's because the milk is white and it's a white people. You're like, what are you even saying? Sometimes it's conspiratorial
Yes,
weird.
it is very conspiratorial weird, but the idea is that there's something that you want to say that you can't say straightforwardly, so you use hidden secret dog whistle language to say it.
Right, but the use is
so it's not raising the alarm on the language. It is a description of the paranoia language.
It's usually paranoid. It's a paranoid person trying to ascribe motives to somebody else that probably don't exist, but they think, even though he's just saying something that sounds very casual to you, I have this special ear. I have a dog's ear, and I can hear the whistle, and what they're really saying is something much more sinister.
Now, I'm going to defend it a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think people sometimes do use language that's sort of like code language or hidden. They don't want to say the thing obviously, so that happens.
Yeah.
It's just that it gets so overused and people start seeing it. It's like once somebody goes into some crazy discipline, they start studying feminist Marxism or something. They start to see things that aren't really there, and that's what dog whistle has become.
But you say that there are legitimate uses for dog whistle.
Yes, I
but
do.
you're just
I
saying
do.
it
I'm just
tends
saying it's
towards
way overused. Way overused.
Right. So full stop.
Okay.
So that's just me. That means.
Now, did you notice the little gesture you made?
Yeah. Right. You're right.
You got to do right.
Yeah,
that is how you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the gesture says everything.
Yes, you got to put the finger up, and which means the thing that that thing I just said, it is so important that we're going to stop right here, and there is nothing else that needs to be said.
Yes.
because I've
Because
said
I
it,
did it. Because I did this.
and I did the thing, and I said full stop. Gosh,
Yes.
that's
Annoying.
that's like a
Annoying.
Don Lemon aggravating. I'm
Yes,
saying no to
yeah.
that one. I'm so sick of Game Changer. That's old. It's probably 10 years old, right?
Oh, I say it all the time.
Oh,
Do you?
gosh, that's a
Yeah,
real
I'm
game
sorry.
changer. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? It's just.
Okay.
Gaslighting. But
Gaslighting.
gaslighting,
is
how
a
old
good
is
one.
that? That's got to be
Very old. With the
30s,
movies,
40s.
The movies.
No, but the
It's like a black and white movie, isn't it?
yes, but
The modern
the
appropriation.
modern appropriation. Well, I mean, we did the show with Longinus. So
Yeah.
actually, it's on the table
It's on the
here.
table here,
So
yeah.
it's within the last 5 years, and Longinus had never heard of it. So it's 5 years old, but it is interestingly a reference to a 1950s movie,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is when you try to make somebody think that they're crazy. So Ingrid Bergman's husband tries to make her think that she's crazy in this movie Gaslight, and has to do with turning the gaslight on and off.
Well,
But the modern, go ahead.
The modern concept is that you're telling people something that is straightforwardly false,
Mm-hmm.
but you're doing it in such a bold, authoritative way.
Yes, so
that
convincing.
you make them feel as if, well, I have to believe.
Yeah,
this. How could I not
would be
believe
stupid.
This? They're
No.
so confident.
Yes, it's like being told for 8 years how beautiful Michelle Obama is. Sorry about that. one.
Yeah, we did that.
So too soon?
Yeah, that one's.
I'm okay with that one.
I'm okay with that one, but with all of these, in moderation.
Well, how about this one? A comedian told a 9/11 joke on 9/11 and said too soon.
Yeah,
That's rough.
That's too soon.
That's rough. That's like the definition. It is so awful
Yeah.
because because the question of too soon is so obviously
Yes.
Yes. Right. It's not like telling or somebody's like complaining about I'm so sick of hearing about the Holocaust,
I know.
and he goes, what, too soon? Yeah. So that's the opposite. It's like, all right, that was like 70 years ago, and you can't.
Reminds me of the Gretchen Wilson song, He Ain't Even Cold Yet. I don't know if you remember that one.
No.
Okay.
Oh gosh, don't put the work in.
Oh, I've said that before.
Oh God, I don't know what is.
Put
What
the
is,
work in. I sort of vaguely get that one.
no, well, no.
Get
How about
better,
this?
get
Yes.
off your ass and do better.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
No, yes, no. This is how I think of it. It's a trans woman who's a man says we are actually more woman than women because we put the work in, and I'm like, yeah, you're putting the work in because you're not a woman and you have to figure out how to fake it. Women are not putting the work in to become women because they just are. Because they just are. So that's how that one rubs me.
Okay,
wrong.
well, that would rub me bad if I had that association as well.
Okay,
Yes.
so the best blank ever. The
Yeah,
best
I like
vacation ever. She's the best
Okay.
girlfriend ever.
That one gets
But you have to
annoying,
do it
especially
with,
the way you're saying it.
well, you have to do the ever like that for it to be properly
Please
annoying.
don't do it again.
You know what it reminds me
Thank
of?
you.
You know what it reminds me of is Maxwell Smart saying, "That's the second biggest arrow I've ever seen."
Yeah, that one never got old though.
That was good. That's good.
I don't know if we're Crowhill. Could you help me with looks maxing or mogging?
Yeah. So
So,
I only
yeah, I
learned
have
this,
no idea.
I only learned this like 2 days ago.
Yeah, these are probably the two most current ones I can come up with.
Now I'm probably going to get this wrong, but it's something.
Which one,
weird.
mogging or looks maxing?
No,
they're
looks
related.
Looks maxing.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong, but it's something like doing extreme weird things to your body to try to make you look better. Like, for example,
Okay.
some
jaw thing?
Yeah.
When I
let's-
take pictures, I suck in my stomach. Is that like
so supposedly
in a good way.
Women like strong jaws.
Okay.
So let's say you're taking a brick and hitting yourself in the jaw to cause bone growth to make your jaw look more pronounced, so that women. That's what I think.
So
what
it's like
looks
self.
like.
So and it's men, right?
Now realize I'm only 30% confident that I have this right because this is totally new to me, but I think it's something like that.
But what was?
And it is men. Yes, it is men.
What was the other term, like metrosexual back?
Yeah, what the hell did that
We don't
mean?
do that anymore, but that's men who were super into like loofahs and hair
lotion,
products.
yeah, right.
And like instead of like a man who just like takes a shower with whatever soap and is available, it's like no.
Why do you have to say it? That's sexual. I know.
Exactly.
I'm gonna stop because
You have right. It's men obsessing
was so bad.
obsessing with their own looks.
I know.
So I'm like, I was like, well, how is looks maxing kicking it up another level? It sounds like you're disfiguring yourself in a way.
I think it's various techniques people use to try to improve their appearance that are over the top.
Yes, but in a superficial, self-absorbed, ridiculous way. What's mogging?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know.
All right, next show you need to do
Mansplaining?
How about mansplaining?
Mansplaining is to some extent it does point to a difference between the way men and women communicate.
Right.
Men and women communicate differently.
Right.
And men do things that women don't do, and women do things that men don't do.
Right.
Okay. But mansplaining is a way to turn the way men speak into some sort of like crime against humanity.
Yes, it's a criticism. It's like, I'm just trying to explain how a carburetor works, and now you think I'm doing it in an insulting way when all I'm trying to do is convey, how something that I don't think I think you might not understand.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain it in the clearest way I can, and now that's a crime.
Mansplaining at its heart is a woman who feels like she's being belittled by a man who's explaining something.
Yeah, it's inadvertent condescension
Right.
to a
Yes.
woman. So you're at a meeting at work,
Yeah.
and the woman is talking about something, and then all of a sudden you kind of interrupt her to push it along or detail that, and so
Right. It's like I think what you're trying to say is, oh God, don't start. If you're talking to a woman especially in a business environment, do not start a sentence like that.
Well,
Let me help you out here a little bit, honey.
The thing that
Sugar tits. Don't do that.
on the one hand, you were speaking of the bird, the sugar tip. Yeah. Yes. So there is something to mansplaining, which is that men communicate differently. But the annoying thing about it is that only particularly male ways of communicating have been turned into these bad things.
Yes.
Where particularly female way of communicating that annoys men.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to complain about that.
And mansplaining would never be used in a helpful way, like, oh, I see, you have explained this in a way. No, it's always going to be criticism.
It's pathologizing manliness.
This one's very recent, too. This is probably, based can't be more than a year old.
No, I think it's older than that.
Oh yeah,
I ain't going to give you more than 2.
based on right.
No,
it's based when you say she's a based person.
Oh my God.
or something.
Oh, that was based.
I thought they were talking about the bass guitar.
No,
jeez.
come on.
We got to
I
get
thought it was
Longinus up.
BASS.
I'm still not exactly sure what it
know.
means, but
It does mean kind of badass.
Yeah, it sort of means okay, that's respectable and
Yeah, but it's in an admirable way. Like,
Yes.
oh, that's hardcore. That is something like that.
I don't like. The
How
next
about
one.
instead of we've just reversed these things serious? He's a very unserious person, or so the joke isn't not funny; it's unfunny. So how is unfunny and unserious different than not
I don't
serious
like it.
and not funny?
okay, in a way, this is the joy of language, right?
Yeah, it's great.
This is why poetry is so amazing. Like the ability to take
But that ain't
words
poetic.
and mix them around in a funny, interesting, different way to come up with a slightly different take on a phrase.
Yeah,
and that's lovely, and I like that, as long as it's not used too much. Like, if people are saying unserious and unfunny too much, it's like, okay.
I don't like
And a lot of these, I think, like you said, some of that these are not necessarily things. I should have categorized these that I have a problem with, I'm just not going to use it. So I'm not going to do that one.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I don't say based. I don't say said no one. Most of these things I'm okay with, and I recognize their usefulness.
Yeah.
I'm just not the guy who jumps on
I'm not
there.
the guy who's going to use
Now,
them.
at
Not me.
when I worked. What was this? More than 25 years ago. For in Mexico, in an English-speaking newspaper run by a Brit.
Okay.
Who used at the end of the day all the time. And I was like...
That was a catchphrase, right?
And then, like 10 years... And then, 20 years later, I'm starting to hear it all the time. Like, that's something that's just crept over from the Brits.
Huh.
Yeah,
Could
that was already a Brit thing for a long time. And now we have found it. And some people just...
Well, that's another fascinating thing about this, is somebody uses some turn of a phrase. How does it become popular? Like,
well, there's
I know it. Right.
That's. I was going to say I've written a bunch of stuff down at the end that we could talk about. How does it become popular? Right. Why does it become popular?
Right.
Are the two questions.
Right.
Right.
Is it right? Because it's ground up. It's top down. It's does it come from the working class? Does it come from Hollywood?
No, I think it comes. I can't think it comes from another word that I don't like. Influencer. There are certain people who have an outsized influence on the rest of culture, and if somebody who is an influencer uses a word or a phrase, it becomes popular. Right. Where if I use a word or a phrase, it's not going to become popular.
Yeah, or something. Something that's come and gone, and I'm very glad to get jiggy with it. Right. So somebody writes a song and they put some term in, and the song's popular. People use it in popular culture.
Yeah.
People realize the song is lame, and people stop using the term.
Sure. I mean, there's many different vehicles to get these phrases popular.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I asked the question. Do you think the evolution of language is accelerating, and why is it accelerating? But I mean, do you want to go through the rest of them, or do you just want to cut off and talk about the philosophical?
Well, let's see. Which ones you still have to?
One I really don't like.
Ones that you don't like.
I'm not gonna lie.
I use that all the time.
It's like, I really thought you were gonna lie until you told me that.
Well, there's another version.
That's an emphasis, though, of truth.
There's another version, though, that is. I wouldn't lie to you about this, and I'm thinking to myself. So this thing you wouldn't lie to me about,
but everything else.
But there are other things that are suspect that you would lie to me about. Well, I wouldn't lie to you about this. This one thing.
Right.
Yes.
And then,
what do you got? Living rent free in my head.
Oh God.
That one. That was the kind of thing that it's okay if it's used once a year.
No, I'm so. And it's only a year old.
I would never use that. I think that's silly.
Oh my
that's
God,
silly.
so silly.
Let's circle back. I say all the time.
Is that right?
I don't mind that. I mean, do you put a pin in it before you circle back?
There you go.
And run it up the flagpole to see if it flies.
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
This is like meeting boardroom talk, right?
Level set is one of the marketing boardroom kind of things people say a lot.
Well, but how I don't even know that one. How how do you introduce that?
Where does move the needle come from? Are you talking about a compass needle? Are you talking about a speedometer? Or are you talking about
You're talking about something that is measuring something, like your speed, and you want to say, does this
measuring something with a needle?
Well, the idea is the needle is on a gauge. Okay,
right.
So the gauge is measuring something.
And there's a stasis. That the needle is generally here. And we're just trying to move the needle.
Yeah. Or does this move the needle? It means does it make a measurable impact?
But you never heard that, like, all those great car movies, where people are, you never heard the passenger said, "All right, Joe, let's move the needle." Have you heard that? I mean,
I hear it all the time. Yeah. Tell me you blank without telling me you blank. That one is a little clever, but it's overused.
Yeah, but still, this is like last year, 6 months. Yeah. And when I saw after the Somali
the
nursery
Minnesota song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nursery stuff. there's an interview. This guy with this big bulbous head and teeth jutting out,
Right.
and it was just like, tell me you're Somali without telling me you're Somali. So it can be mean.
It can be mean. Yes, it can be mean. A lot, my reaction to all of these is pretty much the same, which is they can be clever
Right.
if they're used
Right.
infrequently.
Which is how they which is why they catch fire to begin with.
Yes.
And then you're like, all right.
Okay, that's too much.
This is another thing. Once a term like this, like game changer.
All right.
Right. So people are saying game changer here at the human level.
Yeah.
By the time it gets to corporate America and they decide that their new dipping sauce for wings
Is a game
is a real game changer, I'm like, yeah, that was funny. That was interesting 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it takes a while to percolate up before the people, the corporate muckety-mucks go, hey, you know what the young kids are saying these days?
I'll bet you that.
And so you see, there's a lot of times when once it gets adopted at the top level, you're like, yeah, that's already old.
So, many, many years ago, I heard of this service that measured market sentiment by what words people used when they were describing certain stocks or other kinds of things. And it would try to figure out, is market sentiment moving up or down? Okay. So, there's got to be a service somewhere that's telling people this is the phrase that the cool kids are using in the last month. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
All right, so some of the ones that really annoy me. Okay, misinformation, disinformation, obviously hugely annoying. Narrative, for some reason, that rubs me the wrong way.
You know what?
Narrative.
I just know it's the narrative.
Yeah.
It's because the phrase is, well, they won't acknowledge this thing because it doesn't fit the narrative.
And that is
means like culturally,
Yes.
we've accepted that this is the way to view
Yes.
this situation, and if this piece of information doesn't fit,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit the narrative,
Yes.
and so I buy that, but you still find it a little annoying.
in that respect, it makes perfect sense, and I get it. I just think it's, gosh, how many times have I said this?
It's overused.
It's overused. How about lived experience? That one annoys me. Privilege annoys me.
Yeah.
Systemic annoys me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
Yeah.
They all annoy me if they're overused.
So, I did a self-survey.
Okay.
Self-survey.
Yeah.
And I discovered that I have used, and I won't say used regularly, but I have used at least 20 of these phrases.
Well, that's good that you did a little self-survey.
Yeah. So I think probably 10 of them I've probably used regularly at one point in things.
So speaking,
it comes out of fashion, in and out of fashion, with yourself as well as with,
So speaking of the rapidity or the rise or the speed at which language changes.
Yes.
If you guys agree that that's a thing.
Yeah.
A thing.
Okay.
So, there I am, victim of the whole thing. As a red-blooded masculine man, as an American, I spend much of my time thinking about time travel.
Okay.
And you guys thinking about time travel all the time, like a normal human being? Man.
But only to the Roman Empire.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that comes up is how quickly you would be recognized as a time traveler based on your language.
Well, that's interesting.
So now, I'm not even talking about going back to Elizabethan England and trying to sell myself on that. That you'd be burned at the stake in the one day.
Yes, because you wouldn't even pronounce any words correctly.
Well,
but with what we've talked about here, even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
you would sound like a weirdo.
Yes.
There was that Stephen King Netflix series you sent.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's an example. You're going back to the 50s or whatever.
Even in
the
Back
60s.
to the Future, you know, when Marty McFly goes back into the 1950s, he's using words and phrases like, what are you talking about?
Well, the thing that Longinus is talking about, 11/22/63. So this is the show is somebody's going back to prevent
Kenny's
assassination. So before he goes back, the guy who already knows about this, he says, oh, and the food is so much better. The scene cuts. He's at a diner in 1963 eating some pie, and he goes, "This pie is insane." And she's like,
What are you talking about?
right? Who would say
right.
food is
insane.
insane?
Yep.
And I just feel like trying to fake your way through the past, I could probably not even get through the 70s without being found out. Much less going to Middle Earth.
Before you get in the time travel machine, you have to take all this training. It's like going undercover as a spy in Russia.
But like you're saying, you're saying you're trying to pull stupid phrases out of your language here and now. Imagine if you had to withdraw 70 years of slang out of your language to try to show up in 1963 and fit in.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be very tough. So let me take this to a slightly the evolution of language. Let's talk about evolution.
Yeah.
The way evolution happens, according to some people, is small populations have rapid change.
Okay.
And then that small population develops some characteristic that becomes advantageous, and then they take over the larger population. Okay? So some little population gets separated, and because they're smaller, they can develop this thing, and then that becomes enough of a benefit to make a difference. Now, in language,
so hold on. So just stick with the metaphor here. Like an animal population, like you're saying, like a bird finds a better way to eat mosquitoes, or what?
But typically that happens. So this is one theory that in a small population, you can have rapid evolution because you're dealing with a small inbred group. Where if it's dispersed among millions of birds, it's not going to get part of the population so quickly. So a lot of people say similar things happen with language, that we used to have a lot more regional dialects.
Yes.
Like you went down to South Carolina and people spoke very differently. You went to Texas, people spoke very differently. You went to Oregon, people spoke very differently because there were all these separate different populations. Where now, with television and the internet and YouTube and everything else, we're all one big homogenized group. So we don't have these little groups of people who are rapidly developing new things.
And when you do hear little things like you go to Texas and people are fixing to do this and fixing to do that, I just think that's adorable, and I don't want it to spread. I want us to have I want to be hardcore in New England and fixing to do stuff in Texas, and I don't want to homogenize everything. I think it's great.
But so the question that Longinus was raising about is language evolving faster, I would say yes and no, because on the one hand, something can catch on much faster.
Yes.
In that, Britney Spears isn't the big thing. Taylor Swift says some new thing, and all of a sudden, boom, it's all over the world.
So this is the word viral is both a term like that and an apt description of what you're talking about.
Yes.
Right? Spreading like a virus.
So something can spread very, very quickly, but at the same time, we don't have as many regional differences. So,
but does that facilitate the rapid spread?
Right. The thing is, you don't have as many regional differences, but you have you have virtual or digital or other types of differences. I think geography is becoming less relevant.
Yes.
Exactly right.
And to some extent, as the culture is becoming so much more bifurcated in terms of liberal or conservative, then you're probably going to see liberals saying things that conservatives are not saying.
Something to look
I
out
already
for.
see this.
All right.
Yeah. Where
so you could identify somebody's politics by their words, by their
and not just
phrasing,
politics, other things too. Whether somebody is evangelical Christian, you can listen to the language they use, and you say, "Oh, In your little subgroup, everybody uses
well,
that word.
Privilege, lived experience.
Sure,
That's
those are liberal words.
Those
right,
are indicators. Of,
yeah, let's circle back or whatever. There are other words that sound more like, okay, you're in the marketing boardroom when you say that. Right. Yeah, so there are words that identify you as being part of a subculture.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a part of a group within the culture, because I don't even know if you could even identify or define a subculture anymore. I mean, maybe the United States is a culture, and then there's just subgroups in there, but not really a subculture. There's
I mean, you know, the transy
say,
bunch and the goths and
right.
whatever.
Unless you want to say transvestites are a culture,
but
I don't
like
think that's
maybe
right.
maybe Joe Rogan uses a phrase repeatedly that people who listen to Joe Rogan are more likely to say than other people.
Sure.
So when you hear that, you can say, you're a Joe Rogan.
You're a Roganite.
Yeah.
I just invented that.
Maybe
maybe that's going to go.
There's a new one.
It's probably going to catch fire.
It's going to catch fire from right now.
All right. Well, language is fun.
Language is fun. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends.